Professor Archie Clements from Curtin University in Australia. Good to have you on the show. Let's start off with that part of the world. New Zealand's progress at sort of beating the coronavirus through its elimination strategy has been effective, but it's also been somewhat controversial. I'm wondering if that part of the world being mostly geographically isolated, do you think that this could set an example for the rest of the pack?
Well, I think, yes, I think it's definitely an opportunity for the rest of the world to look at countries like New Zealand and, in fact, Australia that have gotten on top of the pandemic to observe, I guess, what happens when social distancing and other lockdown restrictions are lifted, and to observe whether or not there is a rebound in cases. And I think also to observe the approach that countries like New Zealand are taking a very phased, risk-based approach, a very careful approach, rather than opening things up too quickly.
Okay, let's sort of broaden our discussion out. I mean, we're seeing similar measures being taken across the world, especially in Europe, where the rate of increases is flattening or decreasing. But that's not necessarily the case in other parts of the world. I'm talking about the United States. Many states there are reopening while numbers are still on the rise. I mean, this could pose a very real threat down the line, especially if you think about it in the context of the incubation period of this virus.
Well, I think it's true to say that countries around the world are at different stages of the epidemic. I think in Europe, we are still, whilst a number of countries have managed to flatten the curve, there is still widespread community transmission in places like Germany and other countries in Europe. And from an outside perspective, looking at it from Australia and I guess New Zealand, it does seem a little early for countries in Europe to be lifting lockdown measures, and absolutely way too early for the United States to even be thinking about it. The problem is, of course, that if you lift lockdown restrictions too quickly, what happens is that you prolong the pandemic, and ultimately what happens then is that you increase the overall economic impact of the pandemic rather than decrease it. So I think that lack of patience that we're seeing in some countries is a little bit concerning, and I think really needs to be managed.
Okay, Professor Archie Clements, thank you very much for joining us here on TRT World.